We are, in fact, live. It is Sunday, August the 18th, 2019. I'm Ben. How's everyone doing on this great Sunday night for a hangout? And we have the man himself, the czar of tone out of the Nashville area, because I don't give away exact locations and I don't know exact locations, Mr. Zach Broyles himself, Mr. Mythos Pedals. Yay!
How's it going, everybody? And other text on the screen here.
Isn't technology great, folks? When you get a piece of gear within the hour, basically, right? You were saying?
Yeah, so I wanted to get this capture device for my camera, and I bought the wrong cable, but I didn't open everything until today. And this morning when I opened stuff, I realized I didn't have the right HDMI cable, so I had to Amazon Prime same day deliver it, and it just got here. Albus Band, you want my shirt? You can have one if I ever make any more.
Let's see. I was going to say, who do we have in the chat here? We'll do a quick roll call. We've got Will Varela doing some warm up here in the chat before the show started. We've got Soda. We've got Terry's GG&G, Joe Hervey 84. Scrolling down, we have Gabriel Tone Guitars, who's making up stuff about factories that burnt down. Okay, whatever. Let's see here. Scrolling, there's my lovely sister Amanda. Always nice to have her in the chat. We got Music Therapy Laz out on the West Coast in the Bay Area. Scrolling down, we got Bam Mozzie tuning in from the UK. Awesome. Late night for him.
Oh, man. That's really late.
We got Brack Stubblefield out of the Nashville area as well. I got to hang out with him one night after hanging out with you, Zach, actually.
Oh, nice.
I was hanging out with him on the Friday night. There's Brad Miller out of the Tampa Bay area. There's my man Albus Band. Aaron, my Nam brother. Let's see. We got Todd Flowers. Sorry, it's scrolling ahead, folks, on me. BC Rich 581. Guitar Man 45P. Daniel Horsley. All right. Let's see. Dan in New Jersey. I think I saw Riley. There's Riley. Invader Jim 462. Can't wait for some Mythos, y'all. Welcome. New name here in the chat. And if you are new, please subscribe. We're growing every day, and it allows me to keep doing this great stuff. All right. Oh, there's Phil Mosley Music out of the UK as well. We got a whole UK contingent in here.
Nice.
Lawrence Petross. Aha. So he's going to have the most technical questions of the evening, I'm sure.
He knows all my secrets. I ask him everything.
Jimmy Biter, Upside Down, Brian Landreth, Rick Hefner. Sorry, it skipped ahead. Chivalry 218. All right, I think I'm caught up. Sorry if I missed you, folks. Thomas Santiago. So yes, I think Zach and I met virtually. I'll say, in fact, we started messing each other about a year ago. We were brought together by our good friend, the Beeve.
Yeah.
And then we got to meet in person down in Nashville and hang out later that same eve. And I got to play some of your pedals.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So you make some good stuff, man.
Well, thanks. I keep watching the screen and my camera's like going focused, and it's driving me crazy. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been a wild ride over even the past year. It's totally like the business has been just insane. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I first became aware of you a few years ago when a fellow Canuck was using your stuff, but he was spending a lot of time over in the UK, Joey Landreth.
Oh, yeah. Joey has been a godsend for this brand and this adventure because, a lot of people know how we met. And then, it was really him that helped spur getting us into Andertons and in a lot of other stores too. I mean, just being on that pedal show and having a Mjolnir. There's one right behind me right there. That's the very first one. He had one like that, and it just changed everything. It totally helped launch this business, which is crazy. Right.
And now, like we think of Mythos, me as average Joe guitar player, as like, oh yeah, it's like any other boutique builder. You're like, it's world class, and good stuff. And then But you're still at that size of company where I can tune into Instagram on a weeknight and you're
Right.
pedals.
Yeah. It's that. I think that's been a huge thing. I think I'm going to switch my camera to my my MacBook because this is driving me crazy. So bear with me, everybody. Sorry, I can't. I get distracted.
Quite all right. Quite all right.
Okay.
Todd Flower says Anderton's is how he found out about you.
Awesome. Okay, now I can relax.
There we go.
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry, right before I had to do that.
Let's see. Well, we were talking about that pedal show and stuff like that, and then the fact like now it's okay. Oh, I'm gonna get a Keeley this or a Josh Scott that, or I'm gonna get one of Zach's pedals.
Yeah. You were talking about. I do the live streams and I'm still
that too.
side.
Yes, the Instagram stuff.
Yeah, that's been just
David Dennis.
It's been a huge part of the business. It's really like being able to connect with people has been huge, and it's something that you're starting to see more people do, like Josh Scott, of course, and I mean Brian Walter's been doing it, and that's something that I think we may start to see more of that, because now you're seeing like the Earthquaker guys make those kind of videos, and you're seeing
somebody in the chat could start doing it too. That guy out in Arizona.
Lawrence. He can play a mean guitar.
He can. Yeah. He was giving me modal theory advice, but I think he forgot about the time change because it was like 11:30 at night, and I'm like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm like, okay, and then but he dumbed it down that even I could figure it out at 11:30 at night. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, I like when you're so busy trying to just use your guitar as a test instrument, which it's kind of sad.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been seeing a couple questions pop up here.
Yes, I was going to flash one up on the screen here from Riley. Can you ask Zach to make a fuzz called the Chewy Fuzz to make the Wookiee fuzzly sound, to make it very chewy?
I think Disney would probably find fault in that.
Sure. Gabriel Tone Guitars says, how do pedals work with digital amps?
It depends. Every digital amp is different, because I've tried pedals into a Katana and they do okay, and then I've played them into a Kemper and they're all right. Nothing is going to react the same as a real preamp with tubes and stuff, or even like a solid state amp that's not digital, just something that has FETs instead of tubes, is going to react better, in my opinion, than a digital amp. But they've come a long way in the past, even just 5 years.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the fact that they are accepting of outside devices, and it's not like, well, you get to use whatever's in the box and that's it.
Yeah. I had a buddy that had a Kemper, and I took some pedals over there, and he was just like, it sounds so good, with pedals into it. And I was playing it, and like, this does not sound like a real tube amp with the overdrive in front of it. They don't respond the same, because like they don't compress and overdrive in the same way. It's a total different experience.
I agree. Hey, Guitar Hack, good to see you, buddy. He just got himself a Lawrence Petross pedal yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right, here we go. My knees hurt. Say, how is a multi-effects pedal different from a single effects?
Well, it depends, like there are a lot of people doing just multiple analog circuits in one unit. You look at something like even as mainstream as like the Tech 21, they do the Fly Rig, and those are just like a bunch of pedals together. But that is way different than like a Boss unit, which is using Cosm modeling or whatever to be a digital circuit that's replicating different sounds and then spitting it out depending on what presets you use. I mean, in my opinion, multi-effects like that are kind of, this is not my bag, but when they combine actual circuits into one big unit, that to me is kind of cool. Like all those Tech 21 pedals are really neat. But
I definitely agree on that. Yeah. Yeah, because I would think certain pedals, like it's literally just going to be two circuit boards next to each other, whereas when we're getting into digital processing, well, then it's like a computer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you're having, analog to digital to analog conversion, ADA
Yep.
conversion, and then that changes things. And sometimes it can be done really well, or like the new delay pedal that I'm working on, which hopefully should be out, hopefully a month. It's got a digital chip, so it converts signal to digital, but the analog through stays analog. So it just kind of like has your guitar sound and then loops the echo on top of it. So it doesn't monkey with your, with your dry signal. Excuse me.
Right. BC. Wow, we got lots of great questions here right out of the box. I love this. Here we go. How hard is it to re-engineer a full-size pedal to fit into a mini pedal housing? Is it really difficult to take stock on space and move things around?
It depends. I mean, like if you look at something simple, like let's say a fuzz face, like there's no reason a fuzz face should be that big because the circuit board's tiny. That's easy because there's only a few components. But you look at something complicated like, people putting a Klon in a mini box. That's hard. And a lot of those pedals will have multiple circuit boards. So there's a lot of considerations that you have to take into consideration to really fit those things into a mini enclosure. I've tried to do it, and a lot of times I just fail miserably. And most of the time you have to go to surface mount, which is something that I'm doing anyway. But it's hard to fit like a complicated circuit in a tiny enclosure and make it do what you want it to do sometimes.
Sure. Let's see here. Got another one. Oh, and we'll just quickly throw this up. My knees hurt says, thanks for answering my question.
Of course.
All right. Another one from Riley. Would you recommend the I can't even say that name.
Mjolnir.
Yes.
Or
Runestone for alternative rock / prog metal rhythm sounds and sludgy stacking.
Oh man, I would probably recommend the Mjolnir for that. The new one is a lot less mid-range heavy than the older ones, so it's going to play a little nicer with other things, and it won't like, push the mids so much that it kind of takes away from like a real heavy tone, because usually you'd want to have a flat or kind of scoop sound. But yeah, and it plays well with others. And the Runestone, you have to find one used or new ones that people may still have because I'm not making those anymore.
Let's see here. I'm just going to skip ahead. I just have one for me here. Riley asks, what's currently on both of your pedal boards?
You go ahead.
Ooh. All right. In the signal chain path, we've got a Boss passive volume pedal. We got an Outlaw tuner, a Keeley compressor, Lawrence Petross Lost Dutchman, Lawrence Petross 87, TC Electronics Third Dimension, into a DoD Octoplus. Yeah, I've been playing with that. Into my MXR carbon copy.
Man. And mine's easy. I don't actually have a current pedal board. I never, like, I have a closet full of pedals over there. But I'm using my pedal board for like NAMM shows and trade shows and stuff. I never have like a standing pedal board. It's always like for Mythos stuff. But if I were to have a board, it'd be my Deja Vibe, probably a Golden Fleece, a Mjolnir, a Tube Screamer, and a delay. My Maxon 8999 would be my go-to. And that would be it. Just real simple.
Sure.
And a tuner, maybe. I don't know, maybe just headstock tuner.
Now here's an interesting. Steve Keys asks, what got you into the pedal making business?
Well, I started making pedals just as a hobby. I got into modding because of Brian Wampler and Robert Keeley. Started modding pedals, bought Brian's book, and then I had an old Dunlop fuzz face, one of the good ones with like NKT transistors, but it died. It became a radio. So I rebuilt it, and that was about 2008 or maybe 9. And then it was probably 8. And I continued to like monkey with making kits and things. And then in 2010, I decided to make the Mjolnir. I wanted a Klon. I couldn't afford one back when they were like $500 or something.
Right.
And
which is chump change nowadays.
Oh my gosh. I should have bought every one I ever saw back then. But that started it, and then it didn't really take off until much later when I started taking it seriously. But that's what got me started.
Nice. All right. Man, Riley's got a bunch of questions, and that's fine because I know he's up late. Do you have any pedals similar in sound, or your take on a Rat/Jam Pedals Rattler?
Not right now. I have a love-hate relationship with the Rat circuit. I have an old Rat in my closet, my pedal closet, that I modded, that I'm trying to like dial in. And maybe one day a T. And there's so many other people that make great ones, like the Big Ear woodcutter and stuff. Like, I don't know. If it's not my thing,
or Lawrence Petross designed
the
Vermin, just saying.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, we got the super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show here. Awesome. All right, let's see here. Gabriel Tone Guitars asks, what is your price range, cheapest to most expensive, and are you looking for dealers to sell your product?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm always looking for new dealers, but I'm very selective. I'm really picky. Like I've gotten in arguments with dealers via email because like my philosophy and their philosophy don't line up.
Right.
But my cheapest pedal would be probably the Cestus, which is like $100, which is just a clean boost. And then my most expensive pedal will be the new Delay, which is like $249. Okay. Which is not even out yet, but yeah.
Hey, we've got there's ChinaGuitar Sceptic. Good to see you, China Mike.
ChinaGuitar Sceptic.
I hope you're not having too much insomnia. Man, I think half the chat's in the UK here. This is crazy.
I'm big in the UK. I broke in the UK first.
That's right. Brett McCord says hey to you. Legendary Corn Dog. Hello. Great name. Let's see here. We asked that one. Whoop. Oh, of course, then the chat just skips ahead.
Oh, here's a good one. My knees hurt. What makes a pedal cost more than another pedal? That's a really good question. It depends. You know, a lot of it is there's so much more to a pedal than the sum of its parts, because you have to take into account how long did it take to develop that pedal.
Sure.
You have to pay someone to help design it. How many people do you employ? Do you have a building that you rent? Do you have insurance for that building? You know, so a lot goes into it. But for me, it's usually, you know, I'm taking how much it cost me to build it, like the parts, the actual parts cost, and then how long it takes me time-wise to build it, and then go from there. But there's no true rhyme or reason, and everybody's different. So for sure, man, a lot of great questions.
Of course, there we go. I don't need to type that in. Yes, and Legendary Corn Doug would be my cousin Doug, who's past member of Team Canada for Cornhole. So,
Guitar Hack has a question.
All right.
Can I ask why some drive stack and others don't? That's a good question. I would recommend going and watching that pedal show on. They did a show like on impedance,
right?
And you know that's the issue when you talk about like a wah before an old fuzz face. They don't play well together, and a lot of times that can be a huge factor, and it's something that you may not even like realize until you try to plug stuff together. But you know, other times it's just how, you know, the input of a circuit accepts the signal, and if it's, you know, choking off a lot of bass or letting too much through, it can not play well with others. But I always recommend just flip-flopping them and trying them in every order, because there's no rhyme or reason to anything. You just do whatever sounds good to you.
And I see we've got Mr. Ronquillo in the chat. Good to see you.
Oh, man.
RJ. So then I'll get to his question. So what's up with this collaboration I heard between you and RJ on a pedal?
Well, RJ and I have been talking about doing a pedal for, oh my gosh, I don't know, like months. And his favorite pedal of mine is the Herculean V2, which is a 4-knob overdrive that's like an evolution of the Tube Screamer. You can watch, he did a demo of it, and then we played it when I went to his house. Initially, he said, could we do that with like a slap echo that you can just like change the mix, like nothing else? And I was like, man, maybe. And then he threw some other ideas at me. He said, don't give away too much.
Yeah, I see that. And hello to Craig. Good to see you.
He threw a couple other ideas at me. And so we're just making this, it's almost like a multi-effect, but it's not. But it's a really cool, to me, it'd be like the perfect grab and go pedal if you need to like have something that can take any backline. It's going to be this thing, and it's going to be really cool. I'm
I can see why he would want that too, knowing the stuff he plays. That would be that's an RJ in a box.
Yeah, but it's going to be really cool, and I guess I won't say anymore. But hey, the heart of it's going to be the Herculean V2.
Nice. Let's see here. Brad Miller asks, boom, what drives you to design a new pedal?
Well, I feel like in the guitar industry or in the pedal industry, you got to stay relevant. So part of that is just the desire to keep being in people's consciousness. But another part is just like, there's an infinite number of sounds that we're trying to like achieve. And for me, it's, I just get ideas in my head all the time, and I like write them in my phone. And so that's a huge part of it. But like, to be more specific, like the Chupacabra, I wanted to make something that sounded like the first couple ZZ Top records. And so I worked for a long time on that. And like that drove me like for months to like make the circuit and make it right. So like I take inspiration from a lot of places, but that's, it's pretty insane. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Everybody has their own method, and mine is just random.
Terry asks, what is your biggest selling pedal currently? And thanks for coming on Ben's show.
Of course. And probably my biggest selling pedal would be the Golden Fleece or the Mjolnir. They're about neck and neck, but I sell mostly, more often than not, I'm selling the Golden Fleece, which is a 1-knob fuzz, and it's just volume. So everything else lives in your guitar. You have to use your volume control and your fingers. Right. And the Mjolnir is my modded Klon, but it's getting further and further away from a classic Klon, and I'm excited about that. I don't want it to be like just another Klon.
Sure. My knees hurt. Your honest thoughts on the Metal Zone?
I hate the Metal Zone. I think it's so bad. Oh man. But that's just me. I don't know. Like to me, a lot of Boss pedals, and this may get some hate, but I feel like a lot of Boss pedals are like the presets on a modeling amp. It's like, it sounds like how they think, like what would sell it in a guitar store kind of thing. But like sometimes when you put them into practice, they like don't work. And I feel like the Metal Zone is kind of like that. It's cool if you really want to sound like that, but for the average person who even wants to play heavy music, get an HM2.
Right. And Nick KB Music says, can't wait for the Oracle. Yeah, join the club.
Yeah, the biggest holdup on the Oracle is the chips. The little digital chip that goes in that pedal. The wait time is 8 to 10 weeks. So I'm waiting. I placed my order, and I'm just waiting for them to ship.
Let's see here. Hack had a question. Do you design drives with a single coil or humbuckers in mind?
I much prefer humbuckers or P90s. I don't really like it gets me a lot of crap on my Instagram. I don't like Strats or Tellys with single coils. But when I design a circuit, when I think I've kind of whittled it down to where I want it to sound, I will. You might hear my baby crying in the next room. I'll take it to a friend's house or guitar store, and we'll mess with every permutation of pickup to make sure it works.
I like that. All right. Nick KB Music says, when will all your normal size pedals be top jacks?
Oh, well, everything but the Herculean is. And the Herculean, the V2 didn't sell all that great. So I don't know if I'll keep it going. I have a V3 that I'm working on. And it'll be top mount, and it's going to have a lot more stuff going on. But yeah, I'm not going to make like the Golden Fleece top mount. I think it needs to stay mini because it's
right.
It would become even more expensive and unnecessarily so.
ChinaGuitar Sceptic asks, what's your favorite pedal of all time?
Tube Screamer.
He's one of those guys, folks.
Screamers, in my opinion, don't know how to use them.
Clearly. It's the same as fuzzes with me. I don't really do fuzzes either.
Yeah, you just have to play
Although
really
I just
loud.
recently discovered put a fuzz into a low gain overdrive, like into a Klon. Well, now I get.
I mean, when you think about it, like Hendrix never played a fuzz face into like a jazz chorus. He played into like a cranked 100-watt Marshall, and so like part of the equation is that driven starting point, and that's. I mean, I think like if you don't like fuzz, that's the thing you have to do is like put it in front of something with some dirt.
Right. Let's see. I keep missing it. And they've asked it a few times here. Chivalry asks, at some point, digital tech may replace tubes. How would that change a pedal, the way a pedal is designed?
Well, I mean, I don't think that we'll ever see digital be the only way, because I think that there's a lot of great solid state tech that's not digital that we could see amps move to. But I don't know. I think the pedal companies won't have to change. It's just going to be the amp companies that have to make the amps react like a tube amp. Like right. I really want to go try that Fender Tone Master thing, the deluxe and the twin.
Right.
And like I'm genuinely interested in one of those.
Well, especially if you already know how your gear sounds through the real deal.
Right. Yeah, because I have a deluxe that I never thought I would like a deluxe, and I've fallen in love with it.
But don't tell Rhett Scholl that. He went on an anti-deluxe rant last night.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well,
or twin. Yeah, twin. Or is it twin? He's like too heavy, too loud, and I don't know.
Well, twins are awful. Like I mean, this new one looks like it makes sense because it has like a wattage thing, but
right.
But I would never want a twin reverb. I mean, this doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want a super either. It's too big.
Right. Oh yeah, super. That's just nuts.
Yeah.
Riley asks, what pickups does your R8 or R9 have? Does the Dirty Shirley take pedals well?
The Dirty Shirley, which is down there, it takes pedals really well.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful amp. I run it mostly clean, but my R9, which is you can't see it. There it is. Has RS Guitar Works Lindy Fralin True 60s with but I mean they do have a sonic influence on a pickup, but it's the True 60s, and they're just phenomenal. I think they're one of the best PAF style humbuckers I've ever played, and I've played tons, a lot of them.
Well, we got Ike from Flipside Music here.
Awesome.
Nice. Alex Radford's here. Gary Tholander, the birthday boy.
Happy birthday.
Post him up on there. Boom. Let's see here.
Ooh, BC Rich 581 has a good question.
All right.
Is the boutique pedal market helping or hurting the sourcing of components? Are the manufacturers making more? Or there's just not enough to go around? Definitely hurting. A lot of components that used to be 20 cents, 50 cents are $3 or $4 a piece. And so like the move for a lot of things is going surface mount because that's where everything's going, like all the components are going that direction. But, when it comes to like classic chips or transistors, the only place to get them is unless you know somebody is just troll eBay, because I buy a lot of parts from Russia.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of stuff still in Russia. So I get a lot of diodes. All my germanium diodes that go in the Wildwood pedals and stuff,
Sure.
they're all from Russia. I buy them like 2,000 at a time because,
Well, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And get them while you can.
Yeah. The funniest thing that's disappearing that I've had trouble sourcing, and this is so like mundane and stupid, but if I couldn't find these, it'd be a pain, is little ribbon wires that go from my circuit board to the foot switch.
Okay.
That like the company that made them doesn't make them anymore. And the last place I found to have any, I bought 1,000 and they had 2,000 left. And I went back like 2 weeks later, and they had 700 left. And so I bought all of them.
Nice.
But it's crazy, like something so seemingly so like innocuous. Like, of course, why would they not make little ribbon jumper wires? But
if you're the only guy buying them.
Well, yeah.
Hey,
me and
Mike Provo says, "Hey, love your pedals. Have all of the first run models. How often do you sell your #1 limited edition pedals? I have your #1 Milner limited edition killer pedal."
Oh, thank you. That's really awesome. Every now and again, I'll get a wild hair and I'll just sell something. The only pedals that I know that I have the #1 of that were like limited is the Positron.
Okay.
And I have like the first Mjolnir and Runestone, and I don't even think I have the first Golden Fleece. Like, I'm not super sentimental about stuff.
Sure. I can understand that. Let's see here. And hello to Jasco Plumbing Supply. This is looking good. Yeah, I wonder why. Thanks again for the shirt, buddy.
Nice. Ghostbusters, man. Albus band, you got it.
Guitar Hack asks, what's more complicated to design? Is it drives or modulation?
Oh, totally modulation. Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at something like a chorus or even a tremolo, like you can make an overdrive that sounds really good. It's like 7 components. You look at something like a DOD 250. There's nothing in there. But try to make like a phase 45, and there's all sorts of stuff in there. So yeah, modulation is so much harder.
I would think, and it's hard to source parts for analog stuff these days.
Oh, yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, and there's people that are remaking a lot of those components.
Yeah, because I was like, can you make me a phaser? He's like, no, because I don't do digital. I was like, oh,
right.
Come on.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm struggling with. Like, I didn't really want to do a digital delay, but I did. But I'm happy with it, and so I'm thinking, my next non-drive thing will be a digital modulation that can do like really musical things, because I'm not into like weird anything.
I like usable weird, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I the weirdest pedals I have are like not weird by even the most normal guitar player's standards. So I just want to make something musical, and that's kind of where I've just wanted to stay.
Right. Yeah, I want them to stranglehold my guitar tone when I kick it in, but right. Here and there, like a Phase 90 post gain, it's just all encompassing and
right. I mean,
desired effect.
I feel like I should like get some of my favorite pedals because they're just like right over there.
Well, that is an option. We are geeks here. Wow, we got 64 people watching.
Nice.
More pedals using integrated circuits or individual parts?
Well, it's a combination. I mean, like most overdrives are using an IC, an op amp chip. But that's just part of it. If you don't use an op amp, you're using a couple transistors, and really an op amp is just a bunch of transistors inside a little black box, which is crazy.
Nice. Let's see here.
And it's going to grab an Oracle.
Hear that it's got to be the best way to look at a pedal with so much stuff on the market. That's true. All right. Ooh. I just flashed up Guitar Hack saying he's getting a good plexi sound with that Lost Dutchman. Nothing wrong with that.
Are multi-effects a bad way to go? Fruitcake Tony. No, I don't think so. I mean, like, I think it depends on what you're trying to do.
I think it's a good jumping off point.
Yeah, I mean, and like, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if I had a gig and I had to travel, I would have a Helix. Like, I just would. Like, I love my analog stuff. I love all that, but I just wouldn't haul it if I didn't have to.
Flipside says he's had some Mythos come in used, and they're super solid sounding stuff. Wow,
awesome.
I'm not saying that 5 times real fast.
Jasco Plumbing asks what the flagship is. Flagship pedal. The Golden Fleece.
The Golden Fleece.
Yeah, that's like the gateway drug. If you want to, because it's a fuzz, but it's like skirts the line between overdrive and fuzz. So like, if you like,
I'm gonna have to pick up one of those.
Yeah, I mean they're really fun.
Hey, Paul Ewing, good to see you. SDMF's jumped in here. We got a lot of people jumping in. Awesome. Let's see here.
My knees hurt. The plastic film is coming off my new guitar's pick guard. How can I fix this? He wants to keep it and not remove it. The only way to do that is to not just not touch it. But
don't pick at it.
Yeah, I mean I think just pull it off. It's fine. Guitars are meant to be played. If you're really sentimental about it, buy another pick guard and save the first one.
There you go. There we go. Does Mythos pedals make any preamp pedals?
Yeah, I've been seeing preamp a lot, and I don't know what exactly people refer to because everyone's definition of preamp is different.
I will say stuff similar to Lawrence's 74, 87, 68.
Right.
More
to me, that's like the whole amp in a box.
Yeah, an amp in a box as opposed to just an overdrive.
Yeah, because when I think preamp, I think of a Boss FA1. Just like a tone shaper,
right, sort
of thing. But I don't make anything like that yet. There's some stuff I'm working on. I have this tons of circuits in my computer.
Joe Hervey asks, is the modern day market the home players or guys in a band?
It's a mix, but I think the vast majority of stuff, because I think it's never been more accessible to everybody to get all this gear. Because when you think about even when I was growing up, because I started playing guitar 20 years ago, I mean, we had Musician's Friend and there was Sweetwater, but you couldn't try anything, and we didn't have YouTube, so you didn't know what anything sounded like. But now with Instagram and YouTube, you can demo stuff and you can check it out. So now I think that probably the biggest market is just the amateur.
I was thinking for pedals, it's everybody rocker in between, because it seems like these days somebody will start out with a digital modeling amp with lots of variety that gives you an interest in effects. So you go out, buy a bunch of pedals, you get into a tube amp, you may go out, start gigging. Then by the time you're doing a world tour, it's all fly-in, and they're all using Kempers and Axe effects and stuff.
Right.
So, but until you get to that point, you're going to use pedals in between.
Right. Yeah. I think, it's funny, the mix of people using digital and stuff on the road, big bands. It's pretty crazy. But I got to go see John Mayer a few weeks ago, and he had like all his big amps, and it was just like, oh man, it sounded so good.
Let's see here. Aaron, being the disturber he is, Zach
Oh.
hates reverb. Will he ever make one?
I don't hate reverb. I just don't like the thing about a reverb pedal is like, how can I make one that puts my stamp on it that I can sell to you that is worth the effort of designing it? Because I designed a reverb. I have a prototype reverb in that closet, and it sounds super shoegazy, which is like, it would be really cool for someone else, but it's not me. So like, I like plate reverb and really simple stuff, but there's a lot of reverb stuff in my head that I'm thinking of, but it's a little different than what most people would want.
Right.
So that's the thing. It's like, how do I make anything is different and people could like enjoy and latch onto.
Right. See you, China Mike. Get some sleep, man. And see you, Riley, in case if you're still in here. And hello to Mark Taft, my good friend and roadie in life. Let's see here. Super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show. Wow, that is a name. I love it. Says here, I think the trick with a lot of digital stuff like the Helix or Jack Stomp is running analog drives into it makes it less digital sounding. Oh, I think we lost Zach, folks. Well, let's hope he jumps back in. There he is. Quite all right. See, I make a digital question and he's like, that's it. I'm out of here. So running analog drives into a digital, like a Helix, makes it less digital sounding.
Well, I mean, like you're gonna get a more compression, and like you're gonna compress your signal and whatnot instead of doing it all digitally. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Like the most important thing is like, will the audience notice? Like if you're using a digital thing on the road and you're running a overdrive in front of it, like if it makes you play better, use it. But
right, I guess it depends. Are you playing to the general public, or are you one of those bands that plays to a room full of musicians? Right.
Right. Yeah.
That too. Because they always say, play in a bar, it doesn't matter what gear you play, nobody cares. They're just there to drink and dance. Well, that may be true, but John Mayer, for instance, it's half women, half guitar players, I swear.
Right. Yeah. Sitting around me at the Mayer show, there was just insane super fans, and then like there's a group of guys over my left shoulder that were just talking about his guitars all night. But they drove me crazy because they didn't know what any of the models were.
Right.
Like he pulled out a Super 400 Gibson, and they were like, "Oh, it's a Gretsch White Falcon." I was like, "No, it's not.
No, it's not." That was myself and my best friend when we went to see Tom Petty on his last tour. Because it's a different guitar for him and Mike. Every single song is just classic gear. And we're like, look, yeah. Like we figured easily $1 million rigs.
Yeah. I got to meet Mike Campbell when I worked at Carter, and like for whatever reason I was helping him around the shop. He said, "Show me around." And I was like, "Well, what are you looking for?" And he's like, "Well, I have everything." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I was like, "Do you have this?" And I was like pointing all this random stuff, and he's like, "Yep." And there was one guitar he didn't have. I can't remember the model. It was like a 335, but thick. And they made it in the late 60s. Cool guitar, but like that was the reason he didn't have it. He just bought it.
Right.
But yeah, he was a really nice guy. He bought that and a Rickenbacker lap steel amp that just had an on-off switch. Didn't have a volume because, like, for a lap steel back then, it was from the 40s or early 50s. You would just use the volume on your steel.
Right.
And he bought that, and that was his. He said, "I'll use this in the hotel tonight." I was like, "Wow."
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yes, I actually got to visit Carter's. That's the only guitar shop I got to in Nashville, but man, what a place.
It's pretty insane. And the amount of stuff that comes through there. I was there taking them some more pedals Saturday or Friday. I don't know, a few days ago. And Adam, one of the guys that works there, he's like, "Hey, check this out." And he pulled me into a room and he brought in a old Lifton case, and I knew what it was. And he pulled out this 1959 Burst, and it was so awesome. It had been oversprayed on the back. So it was a cheap one. It was about $200,000. So
Right. Yeah, cheap one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did not get it. I forgot to actually. I met Adam there. Lawrence told me to talk to Adam when I went in, and I forgot to ask to go into the back room where the nice bursts are. But.
Oh well, the bursts, they keep them behind the counter. They never have them out. Like the $1 million guitars, they're like always hidden.
Yes, I played a 1955 Telly, which was forget about it.
That he gave me the Burst to play, and then they had a 53 Telly that had never been monkeyed with. It was all original.
Wow, and
it was really cool. It was really cool.
I bet, yeah. Playing some pre-war Martins in there. Oh, yeah, forget about it. Guitar Hack says, "Can you ask if he tests his circuits on a breadboard?"
Some things I test on a breadboard. I have a breadboard completely loaded down. I can actually, if I could get my phone to pull it up, I could just show you on the screen. But yeah, I it depends. Like if it's something I'm familiar with, I'll put it in the computer, and I'll just buy some prototype circuit boards and cross my fingers. But if it's unfamiliar territory, then yeah, I'll put it on the breadboard. Breadboarding some things can be.
AC Rick 581 says, "I'm sure the Telly is at Bonamassa' place by now."
No, like Joe, there's a breadboard that I was working on today.
There we go.
Joe hates that everyone saying like he's buying it. Joe's funny.
I joke on his Instagram every time he comes through Canada. I'm like, dude, you've already cleaned out America. Leave Canada to me, okay? Like, please.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff, and he moves a lot of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like the last time I was around him, he mentioned something about that. He's like, yeah, everyone on Instagram's just like, hey, is Joe Bonamassa buy it? It's just funny.
Oh yeah,
he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, well, he's a gear nerd just like us. Fortunately, he's got a budget where he can be more obsessive about it.
He's genuinely one of the smartest guitar people I've ever met. Like playing aside, whether you like or hate his music or his singing or whatever, he knows so much about amps, about guitars, about little things. Like he'd be like, oh, those knobs are wrong on that guitar from like 10 feet away. Like he knows his stuff, which to me is like one of the coolest things. It's not just that he's a collector. He's like, he lives and breathes gear. And I think that's probably the coolest thing about him.
Yeah. Guitar Hack says he met him on his way to buying a guitar. Imagine that.
That's funny. Yeah, he came into Carter's a lot. And for those that don't know, I used to work there. I redid their website and I restarted their Instagram and YouTube along with John, the guitar photographer on Instagram. If you follow him, he and I did all that stuff. So it was a cool gig. I got to meet a lot of people and played a lot of guitars and amps.
Hey, there's Music Therapy Laz. Laz, who has taken up the gauntlet for me. I've stopped doing the Veda Challenge vlog every day in August. Laz is now doing it, so everyone should check out Music Therapy Laz. We're trying to get him to 100 subscribers by the end of the month.
Awesome.
So, if you haven't already, folks, please subscribe to him.
Vlog every day for a month? Whew. Man.
I did it last August. I did it in April. I got halfway through this month, and it was hurting the channel. So we'll just leave it at that. It was hurting the channel. So
it's a lot of work. And
it gets to the point where if you're already doing a video a day, then it's like, well, I do a demo of one of your pedals. Well, people are like, well, Ben's already put out 10 videos this week. I'm not watching.
Right. So. Yeah. weeks ago, and we talked about YouTube and like his process, and it was pretty enlightening how he approaches it. And I'm actually really going to try to do more of that stuff. That's partly why I bought all that camera equipment that so wonderfully failed tonight.
There we go. I'm going to say jealousy to this. Chivalry says, I don't understand the Bonamassa hate. He plays the gear, and he's a great player. He's a gearhead like most of us. Exactly.
I agree. He brought in Amos, the Flying V, not soon after he got it. And he was like, look at this. And he strummed it, and the G tuner, you could see it like loosening, and like you could hear the G going out of tune just from hitting. He's like, yeah, I'm going to replace these tuners. I'm going to get it refretted. And we were like, you're going to refret this 58 Flying V? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to play it. I was like, wow, the ball's on you.
Yeah.
But he, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his music, but, you know, he sometimes I think he just says things like you aren't a real guitar player if you use pedals things and all that stuff, just to kind of like stay in the conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree on that. Joe Hervey asks, Ben, is a dual pedals good or bad for current models and future pedals? Example, delay reverb. Certain ones, yes. Like if you use, say, one gain pedal, get it with a boost in it, so you don't have to have a separate boost for your leads or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find, I mean, some of my favorite pedals, period, are dual pedals. I mean, if you can find it and it works for you, I think it's awesome. Because one of my favorite overdrives ever is the Gristle King, the Tim Yarnig Gristle King. T-Rex made them for a minute, but I love that pedal. It's a screamer and a burst and a boost, and it's just killer. And then I love the Flint as well. It's probably another one of my top 10, top 20 maybe pedal.
Sure. Let's see here. That's right, Hack. We should be all subscribing to each other to grow the community. Plus, it'll just mess with YouTube if everybody is sub to everybody, because then everybody can do whatever they want with their channels.
Right. Let's see.
Will Broyles asking if Bonamassa has one of Albert King's V's. I don't know about that.
No, he doesn't have. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, because Albert, you know, you've had like Lucy and stuff, but Joe's most famous V's are Amos, which was from this like little V when they came out, and then Norm from Norm's Rare Guitar had it, and then he got another one that like some family brought into Guitar Center out in California. So he has two Flying V's. I've seen both of them. They're both completely different. They could not be further apart. But Amos, funny enough, is in Spinal Tap. Like all those guitars were from Norm's Rare Guitars. Right. And so you can see it in the movie when all the guitars are in the room with the big Marshalls and stuff.
Exactly. The ones that go to 11.
Yeah.
Says he does have one. It says Albert King on the neck. Maybe he just hasn't toured with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I like that, Terry. Enjoy. Everyone, grow the community. Plant a sub.
Yeah, I think my YouTube, I've only got like 1,800 subscribers, which compared to like other pedal companies is just nothing. But I've spent all my time working on
Happy Time Pedal Show. He said lunchtime in Australia. So
nice.
Enjoy Germany. So yes. And there is a link to Zach's YouTube channel and website in the description, folks. So if you haven't already, subscribe to Zach's channel too.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be doing a fun YouTube thing. Or I think we'll do it on YouTube. I'm doing a boost kit. So
right.
I have almost all the parts, and I want to pack them up. I built the first one, make sure it sounds good. I'm going to tweak it a little bit, make sure I couldn't make it sound better. But I'm going to ship all those out, and we'll do I'll make it like a build video like that you can watch on your and take your time. But we're going to do a live stream build as well.
I love it.
So it should be fun. I've still got to get like the PDF instructions together and stuff. But
I remember you were talking about that one night on Instagram, and I was just like, I love this idea because literally we can all tune in and build the pedal together.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun. And we sold out of the first batch like pretty quickly. I was shocked that many people wanted a kit, but I think it's something we're going to try to do every couple months. We'll see how this first one goes.
And hello, Fear My 3-inch. Interesting name. Romeo Delight. Good to see you as always, bud. The dog puh.
I'll grow to 5 inches. Oh, man.
I love inhaling soldering fumes.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, I remember the other night, you're like, sorry, folks, I got to turn on the fan. I'm like, don't be huffing those fumes.
Oh, man. Like the lead-free solder so hard on your lungs. Like, oh man, like if you do that for a couple hours, like you just try to walk around, you can't breathe.
Yeah. When I solder, it's right behind the camera here, and I have a window I open right there.
Yeah, that fresh air is the best. Yeah, I'm in a garage, and so I have a fume extractor, but even then, like I have a fan blowing it away from me. It's just like, you really need to be careful because you just shouldn't breathe that stuff.
That's true. Yeah, it's not good. Aaron says, Zach is like Lawrence in that he does not give himself the credit for how good he is.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you to say. I appreciate that.
And hello, Renus. Cone Talk. Good to see you, Mark.
I'll get high off solder fumes. You will not.
You can try, but you won't.
Yeah.
All you're going to do is tear out your lung lining.
Oh, man. Yeah. Kill some brain cells. Ask us some other questions, guys.
All right. Renus is asking, is that a Ben Coombs signature behind you? Yes, it is. If you'd like to see it. Oh. There you go, folks. Available at renofin.ca.
Ooh.
Mahogany body, maple neck, P90s, bridge is overwound, and it now has another Nashville area company, a Tesi Switch installed in it.
A what switch?
Tesi Switch.
Oh, I've not heard of that.
Oh yeah, he's just outside of Nashville. He does kill switches and a few other things on his website.
Huh. That's interesting. I was gonna do a Veritone in a pedal.
Ooh.
Which would be kind of cool, but like do it right with the transformers and stuff. That's something I've thought. Dan of New Jersey, Dan of NJ. Do I think NAMM is still relevant? Yes and no. I have a love-hate relationship with NAMM. I think that it's the biggest thing about NAMM is FOMO, which is fear of missing out. And like if you don't go, you just like feel like an idiot. And then you go and you spend all this money and you're like, why did I do this? But I think it really only pays to like have your own booth.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the shared thing is just, unless you're sharing and like you can really draw people in, I don't know if it's worth it. And like doing the shared pedal board things and stuff, like because like Winter NAMM, like a bunch of pedal companies, and it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it at all. Mike asked, why no batteries in my pedals? Because batteries are gross.
There we go. Fair enough. And I did see here. Oh, there's Dana, New Jersey. Good to see you. And let's see. Is that a Bandit amp? No, I have a Viper amp there. Wait, there. Christ. I'm used to the mirrored image of Google Hangouts. And I have a PV Classic down on the floor there.
I think my first amp was a PV, and it was a Backstage, I think. It was like a little practice amp. I
think the Rage was my first PV amp, and then I had a Rage 158, which was the same thing, but with some blue on it.
Right. Yeah.
Brad Miller's asking, will you have some more kits before you do the build?
Well, I'm gonna ship what I have, and then I'll do the live stream and stuff. But I'm gonna be sending out more kits after that. But the first batch is gone, so if you want one, you can still get one, but you won't have it by the time the stream arrives because I have to get more enclosures drilled out and stuff.
Joe Hervey asks, what really is TransTube?
Oh, TransTube technology?
I don't know.
It's just a like a FET circuit that emulates what a tube does, like because you can use like a JFET transistor in place of a tube, and that's what a lot of like amp in a box pedals do. And so I think that's basically what PV was doing back in the day.
Okay. Romeo Delight says, very cool. I need a Tesi Switch. Go to tesiswitch.com, use coupon code Canucks and save 15%.
Nice.
Yes.
Ooh,
Todd Flores says, I'd be interested in a Veritone pedal.
Yeah, it's something I've talked about for a while. I just haven't. I don't know. It's never followed through with it. It's hard to like do all this stuff yourself, you know.
Sure. BC Rich 581 says, why is it so difficult to get a decent Leslie sound out of a pedal that isn't a Fortune? Is it because it's so mechanical in the way the tone is generated in a Leslie?
Yeah, I mean, like when you actually hear a Leslie in person, you're hearing two different things moving, and it's a total different experience. Even recording one is weird. But yeah, only the best ones I've heard have been like big money, and I don't know why that is. The Lex, it's okay, but some of the best ones I've heard were like the actual Leslie pedal was really good because they made one for like organs and stuff.
Right. Aaron asks, what's the ideal number of pedals to keep in production year round?
Like different models. There's no right or wrong number. It's just like what do people want? You know, the worst thing is to have something popular that I can't provide for the demand. But I'd hate having stuff just sit around, you know, like having closures on a shelf and no one's buying stuff. So, you know, I like to have at least 5 or 6 standard models, but even then, you know, sometimes that may be too much or not enough. I don't know.
Steve Key says, does Zach send free samples? Just kidding. I recently watched RJ Ronquillo's video demoing the Argonaut. Great tone.
Yeah, I saw that. Was that on RJ's live stream? I didn't know he was going to do that. He must be getting ready for the demo video, but it sounded really good. And no free samples.
Exactly.
I'm gonna move my mic.
Renus is asking, do I have any experiences with the Trouble Bleed mod? I do not, but I saw the King was playing around with it last night live. I actually watched that just before setting this up.
Don't do a Trouble Bleed mod. Don't do it. Just like buy a different volume pot.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, because it changes your sound. Like,
sure,
the response of your guitar won't be the same. So if you're used to like rolling off the volume and like, I mean, yeah, it's going to shave off high end, but like it alters more as you turn it down. I don't think it's worth it. Just get like if you have a Strat, get a 260 some odd K volume pot instead of a 250, and it'll retain more highs earlier in the taper.
Right. Okay. Guitar Hack is back. Good to see you're back, buddy. So let's see. Do we have any other questions here, folks? If not, we'll probably be wrapping things up. Can you believe we've gone an hour already?
I know, it's crazy. It
just flies by. Just seeing here. We'll wait for any. Let's see here. Why not? The Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City has a rock and roll exhibit. I saw Jimmy Page's #1 up close. Also saw Muddy Waters' Telecaster, the Haas. It was a religious experience, etc.
Oh man, I would love to see both those guitars.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. I there's like a list of guitars I would like to see, but most of them are.
There's a bunch there I'd love to see.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Any tone benders in the future? Maybe.
Okay. And Aaron's asking if you're going to be at Winter NAMM to hang with him and me.
I'm not sure yet. I have to decide what I'm going to do. Like, because I can't. I don't want to go by myself and have a booth alone, but I want to share a booth. So, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to do something with Revolta and Novo,
right?
But they haven't decided on how they're gonna split their booth. But if they decide to split it, and it could all work out, I think that would be the right move to have like a half Revolta, half Mythos booth, and just have like I take my Novo that I'm gonna get hopefully this week.
Yes.
And my Revolta, and they have all their stuff. But yeah, I'm so excited about this Novo. I don't know when I'm going to get it. I've just been like waiting patiently.
Right. Here's one. Paul Ewing says, you were at NAMM a few years back. Premier Guitar came by, asked you some questions, then cut you short and took off. I was pissed, so I sought out your stuff for my reviews.
Oh, well, Premier Guitar has very limited amount of time, and that was a favor by Jason Shadrick. He just said, we're here, we'll do a quick video, because really they're supposed to show only like one product at a time.
Right.
So he did me a huge favor. So yeah, it was very short and sweet, but I truly appreciate that. And Jason Shadrick and I have become good buddies.
Wolverella says, doesn't Adam of FU Tone, was he involved with the New York City Guitar Museum? Yes. He was assisting in all the EVH stuff that went in there. Because he's also half owner of the D-Tuna with the man himself. So awesome. He does have contact. Aaron says, my guys at Premier Guitar are top notch. Yes. And I'll actually clarify, our guys at Premier Guitar now. They're good bunch. They're hard work. My God, the amount of videos they were doing a day at Summer NAMM, that was insane.
Yeah, I decided not to do a video because like it kind of sucks. They used to be free, and then they asked you to pay for it, which I get. I mean, like, it's a lot of time and effort, and you know, it takes a lot to do those videos. But we just bought a house, and so I was,
yeah, that
I'm not, you know, because I've already spent all this for NAMM, and just like it was it kind of sucked. I wish I had done it, but it's okay.
I suppose, though, you know, something could be put together since, I don't know, the Premier Guitar crew is largely based in Nashville. You're based in Nashville.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I did the Positron Collider with the guys from, with one of the guys that works at Eastside.
Okay.
Brandon. Gosh, sorry. And he did a video for me. But yeah, I don't know, like the quick and dirty demos, I have a love-hate relationship with that. Like I like it to be a little bit more produced. Yeah,
I hear you on that. So I think we'll probably wrap things up here. Do you have anything to add, my good friend?
Man, I don't. I guess I don't. It was a good hang. I'm glad everybody tuned in and asked some cool questions. It was good to not do this by myself for a change.
Isn't that the truth? So yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to Zach's channel down below, Mythos Pedals. Check him out on Instagram if you're on Instagram. He's there most evenings.
Most of the time, yeah.
You know, he's there, so definitely check that out as well. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. We had some new names in here, so hopefully you guys subscribe as well. And until, let's see, 23 hours from now will be the weekly Canucks with Guitars show featuring myself, and playing guitar and doing more Q&A. So please tune in for that. And as I always say, hold those doors open. Let that guy ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Karma's real. I'm living the dream. Zach's living the dream. I hope you are too. So until tomorrow night, Cheers and rock on, folks, and be good to each other.
See you guys.